Have you ever stopped to wonder what makes a science video for kids, well, what makes it actually stick? Today, we're going to do something fun. We're putting a super popular science video script right under the microscope. We're going to deconstruct the script for the Coke and milk experiment to figure out, what are the secret ingredients that make it so addictive?
Okay, just listen to that opening line for a second. At first, it might just sound like hyperactive gibberish, right? But it's actually a perfectly engineered hook. You've got those visceral sounds, glug, ew, and then a question that taps right into a kid's absolute fascination with anything super gross. It promises a satisfying, weird payoff from the very first second.
And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to treat this script like a recipe from some kind of master content chef. We'll pull apart each technique, every single word choice, to really understand how they all come together to create something that kids don't just watch, but that they actually want to be a part of.
So, let's get into it. Ingredient number 1, the hook. How does this script manage to grab a young viewer's attention and just not let go? Well, the secret is pretty simple. It leans in and fully embraces the ooh factor.
Now, this is what's really interesting. Right away, it creates an identity. The host isn't some boring scientist in a lab coat, they're this kind of fun, mad Curdle chef. And you, the viewer, you're not just an audience, you're reaction rebels. This language builds a little tribe, an in-group. It's basically saying, hey, you're one of us, and frames the whole thing as this nasty but cool adventure.
And this right here, this is the core strategy in a nutshell. It's brilliant. It takes something kids are already, let's be honest, morbidly fascinated by, that pimple pop level of grossness, and connects it directly to science. It doesn't judge their curiosity, it validates it. It's basically saying, hey, you know that gross thing you can't look away from? That's actually chemistry, and it's awesome.
Okay, but a great hook isn't enough, right? You need a solid buildup. And that brings us to our second key ingredient, crafting anticipation. Let's look at how the script builds suspense and makes this whole thing feel easy to do and super exciting at the same time.
First off, the materials aren't called materials. They're called a Curdle kit. Right away, that makes it feel like a fun activity, not some chore from a lab manual. And the steps themselves get these playful story-like names. The milk isn't just milk, it's the creamy, innocent start. And the Coke? That's the trigger that's going to unleash the chaos. This turns a simple setup into storytelling.
And just listen to that language. It's so simple, so sensory, creamy white, tasty. It connects with how kids experience the world. And then, that perfect little bit of foreshadowing, for now. That's it. Just 2 little words, but they create so much tension. It makes you lean in, wondering, okay, what's about to go down?
Which brings us to the main event, the moment we've all been waiting for, the payoff. This is where the script absolutely has to deliver on its promise of Curdle chaos. And oh boy, does it deliver.
I mean, come on. This is a masterclass. Look at the words. The acid hits the proteins. Boom. Instant curdle. You get these short, punchy, visceral descriptions, clumps gross, bubbles fizz, and that final phrase, like magic gone wrong, that is just perfect. It perfectly captures that feeling of something fascinating, a little bit forbidden, and just totally captivating.
And get this, the script doesn't just stop at one reaction. It actually encourages more experimentation by comparing what happens with diet versus regular Coke. This is such a smart move to boost engagement. It plants this little seed of curiosity in your mind, making you think, wait, what would happen if I tried that? It flips the whole thing from a passive experience to an active invitation.
Okay, so the experiment is fun, it's gross, we get it. But it's still supposed to be a science video. So how does the script handle the actual chemistry without boring its audience to tears? Well, this is where it gets really smart.
So first, here's the official textbook definition of what's happening. It's called protein denaturation. It's accurate, it's clinical, and for a 10-year-old, let's be honest, it's probably pretty boring. It just doesn't have any of the excitement we just saw.
Now compare that to the script's version. You see the huge difference? It translates the science into a story. The phosphoric acid doesn't just cause denaturation, no, it attacks the milk proteins. And the result isn't just separation, it's chemistry's nasty split. It's the exact same science, but by framing it as this dramatic showdown, it becomes so much easier to remember.
Finally, any great piece of content doesn't just end. It creates a path for people to stay involved. And the outro in this script, it's basically a strategic masterclass in turning casual viewers into a real community.
The call to action here is just brilliant. It's not a passive little, please leave a comment, it's a challenge.
What's your grossest layer look? It turns the whole thing into a game with the promise of shoutouts for the ewiest results. It's actively begging for user-generated content and social shares.
So, when you actually break it down, the outro is this incredibly comprehensive checklist for building a community. It hits every single key engagement metric you could want: comments, tags, likes, subscribes, notifications, all while keeping that same fun, reaction rebel tone going. So, after pulling apart all those ingredients, what's the final recipe? Well, it pretty much boils down to this really powerful formula. You combine that visceral, sensory language that taps into what kids already find fascinating. You simplify the hard science into a story they'll actually remember, and then you wrap it all up with a strong call to action that makes them want to participate. You do that, and you've got yourself some seriously irresistible content.
And that kind of leaves us with one last thought. This technique worked wonders for chemistry. But what about biology, or geology, or maybe even history? What other complex, maybe even intimidating subjects could we unlock for a whole new generation of learners with just the right amount of gross-out science? It's definitely something to think about.